Puppy cameo, puppy cameo, puppy cameo, puppy cameo. Such a dork. Hey there, it's Cammy. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to discuss my 6-month HRT update. And spoiler alert, there's not actually a whole lot to talk about. So, we'll run through the meds I'm taking, but then we're going to discuss physical changes, lifestyle changes that I've been making, and any emotional changes that have come about. So, let's get started. The meds that I'm taking, or a little bit about my journey, is I have actually been going through this for about 9 months now. I started in February. I started with, the dog is actively licking the tripod. Why are you doing that? You're so weird. Anyway, I started about 9 months ago, and I started on just spironolactone, the androgen blocker, testosterone blocker. And I was on that for about 2.5 months before I went on a full HRT. So I was on, I've got it right here. So I was taking spironolactone, or I am currently taking spironolactone 100 milligrams twice a day, and estradiol patches. I wear 2.1 milligram patches twice a week. And that was my HRT regimen up until the other day when I had my 6-month trans consult with the doctor. And she also put me on progesterone 100 milligrams once a day. And these are the titty Skittles. I gotta show them to you guys because I've never seen pills that are perfectly round. Never seen anything that looks like that before. Should be fun. We'll see what they do. So let's talk about some firsts that I had in the last month. I had my 6-month HRT consult, like I just said. I am quite on track. I'm right where I should be. She went over my lab results, which I discussed last month. But you already know I discussed my lab results last month, right? Because you're subscribed and you watch every one of these. You're one of the 40% of people who are subscribed and watch my videos every week. And if you go subscribe right now, I won't tell anybody that you weren't subscribed before. Your secret's safe with me. But anyway, yeah, so she went over my lab results with me, and I'm right where I should be. I've got extremely low amounts of testosterone in my system and quite a bit of estrogen. So some of the firsts that have happened with me over the last month, I have been met with a large amount of general positivity. About the same that I have been, and an important caveat to that is that I don't have a job outside the home, and with the pandemic on, I don't spend a lot of time out doing things. And when I go to the grocery store, I tend to use the self-checkout, or I do the contactless order ahead of time thing that the grocery store offers. So I don't spend a lot of time around strangers. But the people that I have been around have been extremely positive. I was misgendered once over the last month, and that was just like last week. Funny story about that, I was at the pharmacy today, and I was going up to get my progesterone. And the pharmacy tech, I went up, I ordered my meds the same way I always do. It gave me name, date of birth, or dead name, and date of birth. She went over, she got the med. I had a question about one of the other meds. I conducted myself the same way I do every single time I'm in there. This was a new tech. I hadn't seen her before. So she comes out with my pill bottle, or sorry, with my bag with my meds in it. She looks at it, and she looks at me, and she looks at the bag, blinka, blinka, looks at me. Are these for you? Like, it's a trans med. Perhaps, like, I don't know how she didn't realize that the 6-foot-tall Amazon with the testosterone shoulders wearing a trans flag literally strapped to her face might be the person with the dude name. It was funny. Like, I'm not putting her on blast at all. It was actually pretty flattering. So, okay, so another first that happened to me is I had a person who knew I'm trans flirt with me. And it wasn't it wasn't a straight boy. Now, when I was still a boy, I was accustomed to women flirting with me because for some reason that I have never understood, women found me attractive and wanted to flirt with me. I don't get it, but they did. So I was accustomed to occasionally having women flirt with me. So this was the first time that someone has done it since I have been transitioning, and she knew I was trans, and yet she was still kind of flirty with me, which made me feel good. I mean, yes, I'm in a relationship. I'm in a wonderful relationship, but it's still flattering when someone wants to flirt with you, especially when you're doing something like, say, transitioning your entire fucking gender, concerned that people are going to hate you just for existing. It's nice, and it's the first time it's happened. Hopefully it happens more. Who knows? So let's talk physical changes. And this is the part where there really isn't a whole lot to talk about. My body, I've plateaued. And my body hasn't really changed in the last, say, 2 months. My hips have gotten a little bit curvier, but not barely noticeable. My hair had gotten really dry, which I mentioned last month. But again, you saw that because you're subscribed. But I got a new product from my stylist and I started using it and my hair is back to normal. So it was just a matter of adjusting a little bit. I couldn't keep using the same crap that I had been using. So the doctor told me that it is perfectly normal to plateau at about 6 months. So it's nothing unexpected as from her perspective. So that's why she gave me the titty Skittles. They're apparently supposed to accelerate things like breast growth and hair loss, neither of which has been progressing at all. And she said one of the things that's great about taking those is I take them until I'm happy with the results that I'm seeing, and then I can just stop taking them. There's no risk in stopping taking them. So if I want to have ginormous titties that are constantly in the way of the camera, I can keep taking them that long. It's not how it works. But that's it for physical changes. For lifestyle changes, also not really a whole lot has changed there. I'm on the new medication, so we'll see how that goes. We can discuss that next month. I've still been doing the presenting as much as possible thing that I started doing a few months ago. So I'm still doing that and people are still responding positively. There's again jack all to discuss. So let's go to emotional changes. Emotional changes are where a lot of the big changes have been. And if you watched last week's video, which again, I know you did because you're subscribed, I discussed our own internal feelings of transphobia and how society tells us that trans folks aren't valid. So then when we transition, we don't see ourselves as valid. Regardless of how anti-transphobic we may be and how supportive we are of other people, we still don't tend to feel that way about ourselves. And that's coming from inside. Anyway, go watch last week's video and you'll see what I was talking about. So I've been confronting that. And in confronting that, I have started to feel so much better about myself. I started to feel so much more valid. I've finally been able to understand that I'm a lesbian not just by default of the fact that now I'm a female attracted to females, but that I have never really been straight attracted to women. I've always been lesbian attracted to women. I'll talk about that next week when we talk about sex. Baby. That's really about it. I've been feeling better about myself, but ultimately my body hasn't really changed. My lifestyle choices haven't changed. It's mostly been in here. It's been how I look at myself and how understanding myself better allows me to understand how I interact with the world. And again, check out last week for more about that, and next week for more about that. After next week, after we talk about sex, the week after that, we're going to talk about the holidays, because it's coming up on Thanksgiving, which it's the holiday season here in the US. So if you have any questions for me, leave them in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. I like connecting because it is so important with the pandemic still going on and everyone so stressed out about everything that's been going on in the world. I'm talking about the US election, which I waited to shoot this until afterwards because I was not getting shit accomplished last week. So do the like, share, subscribe. Come see me next week when we're talking about sex. Baby. So you can join the journey on Patreon. I'll put a link in the description and the link on the end card. Come see me next week. I love you guys. You're valid. Thank you for being my friend. Bye.